Hey guys. Hey, I know you just finished Ruth for the first time in our Bible reading plan, and we're going to be reading it several other times in these 21 days. But I wanted to go back to the beginning and ask us a question in these times of COVID-19. But to go back to the beginning of this story, we have the story starting with famine on verse 1, and then continuing in the next several verses of showing how Naomi loses in death her husband and her sons. So the beginning of this story is hard, full of grief and sadness. And then, of course, as the story goes on, we have her returning to her homeland with Ruth, meeting Boaz. But man, the end, which we read today, of just showing the purposes of God, in chapter 4:14, we have a baby that is born. Ruth and Boaz married, and baby Obed is born, who ends up being the grandfather of King David. And we have this verse 14 in chapter 4. Then the women said to Naomi, "Blessed be the Lord who has not left you this day without a redeemer, and may his name be renowned in Israel. He shall be to you a restorer of life and a nourisher of your old age. For your daughter-in-law who loves you, who is more to you than 7 sons, has given birth to him." I just love that. A restorer of life and a nourisher of your old age. How would Naomi have expected such a thing for God to do at the beginning of the story? In famine, out of her homeland, loses her closest relationships, goes back to Judah, and God does this. So I think it begs the question for us who are, facing this COVID-19 pandemic, an unusual time, sad time, a hard time in many ways. And then, of course, for some of us, too, there are other things going on in our lives. Maybe on top of this dark time is even darker. And I think God just might have a question for us of what might he be doing right now? What might he be doing? And I think of that as a question of hope, because God works all things together for the good for those who love him. So as you face whatever season you're going in this time, whatever layers are on top of all this pandemic stuff, just ask yourself that question, ask it in hope, and pray, and just walk close to your Father through this. Lay out your grief to him in all that's going on in your life, and look at this story of Ruth as a story of great hope, that God brings life. Naomi starts in darkness, sadness, and ends with a restorer of life and a nourisher of her old age. All right, have a good day.